Welcome again to this space created for you by Assure for Life. My name is Mariana and I am psychologist. And today we're going to talk about the grieving process. As usual, we have two different lines and topics that we mostly talk about: quality of life and grieving process. And today we're going to talk about the grieving process. Our main topic will be how to deal with unexpected loss. Remember that this space is created for learning, reflection, and also for understanding a little bit more about the grieving process. When we talk about unexpected loss, we talk about one specific situation that comes with the death that we don't expect, and also we are not ready to accept, receive, or even understand when and how it happens. Although all the losses are not expected for most of the times. And even when we part of one islands or Long Islands, or even when we were part of a treatment that comes with a person that start to show some sick symptoms, we can know that it's possible that the person can die, but it's not always true, or we even not expect the loss as soon as possible that we can even change or stop it. But when we have to experience one unexpected loss, like an accident, a murder, or even a situation like the person take their own life, we need to understand that the shock of the moment will be deeper or even more difficult to understand and handle at the moment. For that reason, we talk today about how to deal with unexpected loss, and we're going to talk about what we must do. So let's talk first of all about what it is one unexpected loss. It's one that happens without the family member or survivors being aware of nearness of their loved one's death. When we don't expect, when we are not ready, or even we don't expect the death because maybe the person is healthy, or because it was an accident, or because you realize that the person or yourself starts to feel sick, and then suddenly in 1 week or 3 days the death comes. And that is unexpected loss when we are not ready, when we don't have a symptom, when we don't know what happened and why it happened suddenly. So when we know that, what we have to do and understand is that is unexpected loss reality. The reality of that situation that we can expect or even prevent is commitment, or even come with that feeling of shock. What happened? Why is happening this situation, and why I have to experience it right now? And also comes with a lot of questions and a situation that comes so natural. That is the shock reaction. You don't accept and understand what is happening. So for that, that is the first symptom and reaction that we need to talk a little bit more deeper. And is shock is greater. When we realize that our loved one died, most of the times, even when we expect the death because we know that the person was ill, we feel shocked because this new reality without my departed loved one will be different, or I don't like it at all, or I don't feel comfortable. But when it comes as an unexpected situation, he feel a shock reaction rate greater, and is bigger to understand and accept what happened. Unexpected event active protective mechanisms to guarantee adjustment, such as shock or denial, that comes with so frequently that we deny the reality at the moment, and even we can deny it for 2 or 3 weeks after the death. But these reactions can be so intense and prolonged that they can extend or paralyze the grieving process. For so much of these situations, we understand that maybe in that situation, for me will be so difficult to understand what happened, when happened, and even if it's this real, and for me will be so difficult to adjust to this new reality, and for that reason my defensive mechanisms will try to deny that reality because comes with a lot of pain, confusion, and anguish. Other of the situations that most of the times comes with unexpected loss is increase the sense of unreality. As previously we talked, when death comes, we need to adjust our life and beliefs with the new reality. But in this unexpected situation or unexpected loss, the moment to understand the new reality will have more situations that will stop it, like some kind of stones on the way. This sudden loss of a loss The sudden loss of a loved one can cause feeling of unreality that is difficult to accept, increasing the feeling of out of control, chaos, and uncertainty about life, which makes it more difficult to face the lost reality. The third situation or aspect that we have to take in account when we have an unexpected loss is difficult to cope with loss. This kind of difficulties can come with faced with unexpected loss. Not only is the breaking in an emotional bone, also comes when unwanted turning into course of life. But there is also an stage force light, a necessary requirement to prepare and set in action the strategies that will allow a better way to cope with what was happening. When we understand that, for me, now it's so difficult to understand the loss because it was unexpected and I was not ready, or even I never think about that when my person was alive or when my loved one was alive, because for me it was a healthy person, because for me it was younger, and that comes in a lot of different situations when the person was so young, teenagers, a baby, when we see like the kids get out islands, and we have that belief that that kind of person must not just experience in that situation, and even thought we think and believe that it's not possible that a person can die. And the reality is that the death can happens to all, or to everyone that we know, in a moment that we don't expect, that we don't know. For that reason, when happening this kind of situation or even a stage of life, is so difficult for us to understand how it was the death or the situation of the loss. And for me, to cope this loss will be difficult to understand the course of my life, how will change it, and how I can handle it in the better way. For that reason, we start to understand a little bit more about the death, the life, and how is exists the possibility every time that I go out or I have a emotional intense bond with a person, can happen the death, can happen the loss. The other situation is that intense feelings of angry and guilty or guilt. When we have an unexpected loss, most of the times the people didn't have the possibility to solve these situations or issues that were stopped, or even where we don't have that situation or that moment or that chance to talk about some kind of difference that we have between us. And during a while, we create the distance between the bond. And when happen unexpected loss, the person start to feel angry or guilt because the feelings that were together was connected by pain, by angry or rejection, or even about something that you think that it was doing in a bad way by the other, and you have the feeling. But when the person dies, there's nothing more to do. Then we don't have the conversation, then we don't have the way to solve that conflict just only by yourself, doing your own way or your own space to create the farewell in the best way. For that reason, the unexpected loss comes with a lot of situations of anger and guilt. Facing an unexpected death, these feelings arise immediately and very intensely and can come with an obstacles to being able to adapt better to the events and to the missing person. That are some kind of situations that you have to deal. And the five sign of situations will be dealing with trauma. This is so common with is a tragedy that comes with the death, like an accident, like a murder, or when the person decides to take off of their life. This kind of trauma comes with a situations that we need to handle and understand that we have to take a little bit more of control before to start the grieving process. If you experience death as a trauma, the situation, how you experience and how it was, you are not only experiencing grief, you are also copying the trauma. Before to handle and start the grieving process, you need to handle and solve the trauma experience. Both processes influence each other. In this case, psychological support is required to cope with the trauma, in order to avoid post-traumatic stress disorders and breakdown in the grieving process. If you know that for you, or even for a family member, for a friend, that is unexpected loss that have to experience, it feels like a trauma and is showing like a trauma. For you, it's so difficult to talk about this situation. For you, it is complicated to understand what happened and even your feelings. First of all, you need to handle and solve the trauma experience and then start the grieving process. Most of the times when you develop some stressful disorders or depression disorders, it's because you can handle the trauma that comes with the grieving or with the accident or with the unexpected loss. For that reason, it's so important to, first of all, contact for the professional support and also talk before about the trauma, and then you can start with the grieving process. For that reason, remember that if you are part of Assure for Life, you can ask for that professional support. If you realize that maybe you experience trauma in the situation of unexpected loss, or if you notice that one of your family members have this kind of signs. Knowing all these five kind of situations that comes with unexpected loss, we would like to let you know how to handle or deal with unexpected loss. Face the pain, less suffering. Face the pain is accept that you have to understand and also realize that it's a painful situation that for you at the moment it was difficult to understand and also handle or prevent. But for that reason, you don't have to stop or avoid your pain feelings. Remember that it's different a grieving process when you can do an anticipatory grieving. And also it's different an unexpected loss. For that reason, you need to be so honest with you and then understand that if you feel that you need to express all the pain during the next weeks or months because for you it's so difficult to understand, accept it and understand it like process, like part of the process. But also accept that you have a responsibility to change that pain from suffering. If that grieving process makes you feel a deep feeling of suffering, you need to look for a little bit more of help. And also can if you can concentrate just only in your grieving process will be so helpful. To value and be appreciated for what has been lived. As previously we talk about the grieving process in different conferences, we need to talk always about what we feel as connection with life. And one of the things is talk about what you live in together and how that was living with the person that you love. Try to remember all the kind of situations, the happy moments, the grateful moments, and then remembering all that situations. And at the moment that you try to complete the grieving process, then the unexpected situations will be decreased because you are adding all the happy moments or the satisfactions that you feel with the bond created. Be responsible for the grieving process. When we talk about being responsible with your grieving process, we talk about you need to be in charge of yourself. And when we talk about being yourself, being in charge of yourself is also accept the situations that you're living and not denying the pain, the sadness, or all the intense emotions that comes with the grieving. Also, is part of your process have that commitment with the object or the goal of feeling better and accept that this is just a moment that you have to experience in your life. Because if you stay just only talking about what happened and feeling sad, you will not complete the grieving process as a healthy way, and then you will stop with your own process and maybe stopping the process of the other persons. Learned about grief. Learn about grief is not only situations that we need to learn just when we are experiencing. We can learn about grieving with partners, talking with people, reading some books, or even watching this kind of conferences, because at the same time you can learn about the grief and also understand what kind of grieving you're experiencing and also what kind of situations comes with your own grieving, with the grieving of other person that maybe have the chance to say goodbye to the departed loved one, or even with your own grief that comes with unexpected situation and also with unexpected loss. Understand this is so beautiful. Understand life step by step. Being so sincere with you when you talk about how it's better to handle one grieving process and how will be better for you. And also understand that the life starts and comes with a lot of fast situations. You need to do this right now. You need to be helped the next day after a loss of loved one, and that is on a reality situation. If you feel pain and if you feel that you miss your departed loved one, that's natural, and that can extend for more than 2 weeks. You can feel the pain, a deep pain, the time that you needed to understand and accept this new reality. So remember that every step that you take during the grieving process comes with a lot of satisfaction, but also comes with a lot of understanding about what it was you experiencing at the moment and what was better for you to handle and how you are understanding the step by step and then achieving a little bit more of balance or a little bit more grateful feelings or a little bit more calm and peace. And seek timely help. When we look for help in the best moment, also will help you with the grieving process as the way that you can also understand what is happening, your own process, and how you can even just not only help to yourself, you can also at the same moment help to your family, to the people that is around you, maybe experiencing the same situation, maybe experiencing the same unexpected loss, not always with the same family member, maybe with a partner, with a external person, and then you start to be a person that teach to the others how to handle. And also that professional support will give you a lot of skills and also tools to understand your own process, your own breathing, and at the same time it comes with a lot of understanding and feeling of confidence with your own grieving process. And then if you are not conscious of maybe that unexpected loss develop a trauma experience with a professional support, you can understand and realize that maybe you need to handle first of all the trauma situation and then start the grieving process. For that reason, it's important in these unexpected loss situations to look for professional support. Knowing all these ways to handle and also tools that we share for you, we would like to close with this quote for you. Only what you do while giving can help you find the balance you require to active the adaptive mechanisms that lead to healthy grieving. If you are conscious of all the tools that you have to develop and also understand your own grieving process, then you can realize your own process will be better every day that you feel more conscious and also in charge of your own process at the moment that in a common way you can start to help the others in the same way, sharing support and accepting and receiving support in the same way. Knowing all this, remember that if you would like to look for professional support and if you at the same time are part of Assure for Life, you can greet to this WhatsApp number or even email us to ask for your counseling sessions. And if you are not member of Assure for Life, you can also still learning and reflecting about the grieving process in our previously conferences. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also follow us to our different social medias that we have. I would like to invite you to our next conference that will be on May 7th and is what it is burnout and how to handle it, how to manage it, the burnout. This conference is about quality of life. And the other conference will be on May 21st, how to honor our mothers, how we can commemorate her memories, and also that conference will be about grieving process. Thank you so much for your time and also for being with us during this conference. We see you the upcoming conference. And remember that Assure for Life is what we all deserve.